All right, we now move on to the NBA. Yes, we still cover the NBA on this show, just been a little bit. But we have the NBA All-Star Game starters to get into. These they were announced last night. You have out west, it's Steph Curry, John Morant, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and Andrew Wiggins. And in the East, you have DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young, KD, Joel Embiid, and the Greek Freak. A lot of usual suspects out there, but you did have a few newcomers, or so it seems. Drink, what do you make of this?
Hey man, listen, it's a lot to make of this. Okay, so first of all, shot. Let's start with the East. I was gonna start with the West. I think I want to start with the East team, Durant. I think this back-to-back years for LeBron and Durant as captains, and for LeBron, this year number, I think this year like number 5 or 6 for him being a team captain straight. So that's a lot to say for the old man out there, still doing his thing and still picking teams and still on top of the NBA, and but let's talk about the Eastern Conference for a minute. Listen, here's the thing: Giannis, Embiid, Kevin Durant, those three guys, you would call those guys stalemates pretty much. They always in the mix. Maybe not always starters, but they on an all-star team somewhere somehow. And then Trae Young, this is second year starting in the all-star game. So clearly he got the goods. And listen, coming off of Eastern Conference finals last year, so I think one more year of him being in this mix, and I think we gotta start calling him a stalemate. But let's welcome back one DeMar Rosen. It's been a little while for DeMar. He didn't, from his days of getting swept by LeBron and being the perimeter all-star year in and year out, and doing his thing. And he left, came to the West Coast, played for the Spurs. And now he found his way back with Chicago Bulls, and dare I say, probably in the MVP conversation this year, because what he's doing as a leader for the Bulls is right on mark as what he did as a leader for the Raptors, which is lead them to the postseason, and then we'll see about that. But with that said, I gotta give credit where credit due, even though I'm ragging on him a little bit. I gotta give credit due. I think well deserved that he's a starter. I don't really have a lot of complaints about the Eastern Conference starters, and probably won't have a lot of complaints about the Western Conference either. I'm not mad at this, but like you said, for the most part, usual suspects. But welcome back, DeMar DeRozan. And then over to the Western Conference team, LeBron, Steph Curry, usual suspect. He's in there. LeBron James, like I said, I already gave him his flowers. Nikola Jokic, him and Embiid, 1-2, 2-1, however you want to look at it when it comes to the big man in the game. So we should have known he was going to be there. But, oh yeah, baby, the West threw them curveballs this time. Is that Zion? No, that's John Morant. Oh, well, let's talk about it for a sec. Jay, on this show, we have brought this up numerous of times about the lackluster flop show that is the New Orleans Pelicans. And, Zion, the best next to LeBron, this kid is going to be a can't miss, da-da-da-da. And we've been talking about, man, like, dude stay hurt, one. And then two, it's like, listen, I know everybody's like, hey, mind your business. Don't worry about his weight. He made it here with his weight. He'll figure it out. But he's starting to figure out that the NBA put a lot more stress on that body than, let's say, Duke University or the high school that you played in where you was 2 times as big as your competition. Now, you're in the NBA where dudes are, if not the same size, they're bigger. If not as athletic, they're better. If not as talented, they're better. And can I say this, Jay? Can I say this? Can I say, finally, we can say that Zion was not the best player in his draft? We can go and give Ja Morant his flowers? Can we say that? Or am I jumping the gun on that?
Well, it's, yeah, this is a hot topic that we talk about, and it's just because those guys were drafted 1 and 2. I think John Morant has proven that I think as far as being selected to be an All-Star game star, the guy's been fantastic this season. I think he deserves it. Um, as far as the whole John Morant Zion thing, it, at this point, you have to say the Grizzlies are winning because you say can't miss. Well, that's true. He can't miss. He ain't missed a shot all year because there's nothing to evaluate. Drink. I mean, I feel you feel bad about it, but I really do think if we're gonna be critical of the Pelicans, I don't think it's about the Zion pick. I think that was the pick. Um, I think it is easy to look back in hindsight and say, well, maybe they should have done this, but I don't think we could have predicted. I know I couldn't have predicted that. I mean, we would have this little amount of game footage to evaluate Zion. Ja's running away with this and looking like the better draft pick because he's playing. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, and let me be clear. I'm not saying like the Pelicans should have drafted Ja Morant. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is it safe to say Ja Morant was the better player in that draft? That's what I'm saying. Like the Pelicans did what they were supposed to. I would have, if I was a GM, I would have did the same thing. I would have drafted Zion. Like, listen, the dude blew out of his shoe on national TV because that's how much power he was like generating out of his legs. The president came and watched them play. Like, listen, they shut down the whole section for President Obama to watch him play. Right? What are we talking about? Like, LeBron James took time out of his schedule to watch him play. So, I'm not mad at the Pelicans for picking Zion, but at some point, we got to be realistic about this here. Yeah, Zion might eventually be something, but right now, Ja Morant is that guy. So,
yes, yes, just to probably the final point on that. I think absolutely right now, you have to go John Morant again because there's nothing to evaluate. I think the comparison I would make for Zion in his defense is Joel Embiid. Embiid was a guy early on in his career that absolutely, and he still has some injury things he goes through, but he just could not be on the floor at all. And I don't think you may not be able to find a John Morant Zion comparison for Embiid for whoever was in his class, which I'm not remembering at the moment. But
yeah, I
I
know
think
Embiid went third in that
he
draft,
went
and
third, yeah.
I forgot who went first, but yeah.
But that if I'm a Pelicans fan, that's the hope I have. Like Embiid has shown as a guy can get off to a really slow start because of his health, and eventually turn into a dominant NBA player because we know how great Embiid is. That's the hope I have if I'm a Pelicans fan. But yeah, absolutely, Ja's winning right now.
All right, so and to finish this off with a listen, dare I say Andrew Wiggins can revive his career. Listen, this was a guy #1 overall. He got traded before he even got to wear Cleveland Cleveland Cavaliers jersey because LeBron was like, "Hey, listen, yeah, that kid might be something, but I need Kevin Love. So yeah, what we gonna do here?" And when LeBron James say he wants something, you kind of fold to that will. But here we are. Andrew Wiggins is a starter in the 2022 All-Star games. So, man, let me tell you something. If I had to say a surprise thus far, that's definitely it. Even more than Ja Morant, because the thing with Ja Morant is, we always thought that Ja Morant was a baller. And at some point, I always thought he was going to get his credit due for taking that Grizzly team to the playoffs or winning a play-in tournament, or whatever the case might be. He has elevated that team to, I want to say Ja Morant got the Grizzlies right now, #3 team in the West. Right off.
Yeah,
Right off the
they seem to always overachieve.
Overachieve. So we seen Ja Morant getting here at some point, but Andrew Wiggins as a starter, that one was a doozy. I didn't even know he was gonna make it as a reserve. So I had to give Andrew Wiggins credit because he could have packed it in and been a #1 pick that just didn't pan out. He could have been an Anthony Bennett. He could have been a Markelle Fultz. He could have been any of these guys that got drafted and just went flapping in the wind after they got drafted. But he stayed the course. went through what he went through in Minnesota, got traded over here to Golden State, and now this seems to be his type of team. Where, and remember this, Jay. When we talked about stuff before we talked about the NBA before the season, like during the off season. I remember I mentioned that this would be a good situation for Wiggins because he would no longer have that expectation of being the #1 overall draft pick on this team. Because on this team,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, you ain't getting the shine from Steph Curry. You ain't getting the shine from Klay Thompson. And you darn sure ain't out talking Draymond Green. So on this team, it was perfect for him because he ended up, instead of being the #1 overall draft pick, come save our franchise, he just ended up being a very talented guy that got added to the roster. So he got to play to that narrative. Now, because of that, he gets to alleviate all that extra stress of being that guy and gets to just go play ball. This is what we get when he just go play ball. You get an all-star, starting caliber guy in Andrew Wiggins. And dare I say, I don't know what's going on with Golden State. Yeah, I do. Draymond Green been out. Once he get back, I think the dynamic changed. But you look at this team, man. You got Steph and Wiggins, they starters. Klay Thompson coming back off injury. Draymond will be coming back soon. I'm hearing news that James Wiseman, now he's back in training regimen. Man, I'm just saying, I know right now Phoenix seem to be running the West, but man, these pieces starting to come along for Golden State, and I had to give that credit out to you and George. I remember we talked about this sometime in the off season that Golden State should be bouncing back this year, and going back to what we know of Golden State. As this season is going along, it seems like we're getting that way. But as I said, man, like Andrew Wiggins probably my biggest surprise as a starter, but well deserved. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's not deserved. I think he played his ass off this year, so he is deserving of that starting nod. Congratulations to him. But yeah, man, outside of that, man, I ain't got really no disappointments or no gripes with the starters for the East and West. Team LeBron, Team Durant.
Yeah, I think besides the Wiggins thing, I think it's pretty hard to argue with really any other of these. I mean, I'm sure other guys have cases that you could make for them, but I think all of these guys, especially like the three-headed monster of that Eastern Conference front court with with Giannis, Embiid, and Durant. I mean, it don't get no better than that at all. And then in the backcourt, I mean, Trae Young. I mean, yeah, probably so. And then DeRozan, the impact he's had with Chicago, I think it makes a lot of sense. We know what Steph's been doing leading the Warriors. I think they haven't been quite as hot as they were to open the season, but Draymond being out, Klay, trying to work his way back. They going through it. We get it. But then of course, look, LeBron, he out here just playing at a ridiculous level in his 18th, 19th season or whatever it is. And then we know the Joker. I have to say though, Wiggins, a couple things with that. Number one, has to be the fan vote. The fans must have just been off the charts for this dude. They must have been just phoning in person, photo ID, mail-in balloting, just everything for Andrew Wiggins. They had it cooking. And then I have to say also, this is a product of this. You can't, and this is no disrespect to Andrew Wiggins, but you can't not look at this and just say this is a product of the West just being down right now. Hello, can I get an Anthony Davis? Can I get a Kawhi Leonard? Can I get a Paul George? How about Luka?
They ain't playing.
Exactly, but that's what a big part of this is. A lot of guys ain't healthy, and then I guess if you have to, maybe you just have to go with forwards. But I mean, even like I'm thinking of a Donovan Mitchell, I'm thinking of a Devin Booker, even my God, dare I say a Rudy Gobert. But I tell you one thing: if everybody was healthy, and for Golden State, Wiggins would be the fourth guy you'd expect to get in.
Right.
It would be Steph, then Klay, then Draymond, maybe, and then Wiggins. Like I think it's a great honor for Andrew Wiggins. I'm just not sure and maybe I'm not paying close enough attention. I'm not sure. This seems to be more about who's not healthy, the big names in the West, as opposed to
What?
how great Andrew Wiggins is.
So let me ask you this, Jay. I heard what you said about the voting. Do you want a revote? Are we gonna take
I,
this to the Supreme Court and get this revote, or what
I
we
don't
doing
want.
here?
No, I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to go through all that. I don't want
Oh,
to.
okay.
I would
Just
hate. I would hate to there be an insurrection at the NBA headquarters. I don't want to see that. But
okay.
no, I will not. I will not be demanding a recount or questioning the legitimacy of this voting process. I will not.